We would like to greet you people in Singapore. You are on Economic Buzz, the English talk show program that outlook the economic policy for your business. And we are still talking about opportunities in current financial markets with Mr. Amrit Mewani, the Vice President Monex Invest in the Futures. Now, after talking about Europe now, how is the United States doing after the QE3 plan? So how is it?
Okay, so the QE, what has happened is they are actually printing money. Every month they print about $85 billion.
$85 billion?
$85 billion.
Okay.
Not rupiah, yeah?
Not rupiah.
That's
okay.
a very, very
huge number.
Huge number, yeah. They're adding a lot of liquidity into the markets. Excess liquidity, if you ask me. They need to do so because they have a lot of debt to pay.
Okay.
And how do you pay all that debt? Well, just simply print more money.
Yeah.
It's nice. It would be nice if everyone could do that, right?
Yeah.
That you have some debt, just conjure up all the money you can make, which is what the US is actually doing. They have a fancy name for it. They call it QE, quantitative easing. This is, they call it QE3 because it's the third phase of quantitative easing, actually. Yeah.
So it would put the US out of the woods, or is it merely on the temporary action?
It's merely a temporary thing. They have to do it, but at the same time, problems are not going to go away.
Yeah.
The US is still in recovery, despite the fact that the Dow Jones has actually hit, 5-year highs. We still are not out of the woods yet, in my opinion. Yeah.
So we left the US behind first. Now, how is the data out of China?
China, yeah. China, okay, so they just released their GDP in line with expectations, 7.4%. And so far, it's not too bad, but there's definitely a slowdown compared to the previous times. Previous times, we could see double-digit growths, double-digit growth figures. 11.9%, 12%, those were the kind of figures that we saw out of China, a real growth engine of the world. And now what we're seeing is it's not bad. It's 7.4%, very close to Indonesia. Yeah. And otherwise, the data is not amazing, but there is growth at least compared to the developed nations.
Yeah.
Europe recession, US very low GDP, 2% annually. China is doing better, but not as good as it was doing before.
But China is still the top leader, right?
It is the top leader. Yeah.
But I see about China is China's always can overcome all the problems they had. So how do you see this? What's actually the power of the China itself to overcome any crisis that had been through?
Well, actually, China is quite susceptible to crisis. It is very susceptible to crisis. It was susceptible to crisis in 2010 when we didn't know anything. Suddenly Europe surfaced and we were all shocked to hear that Europe is in crisis. China's stock markets dropped 25%.
Wow.
That is a big drop, right?
Big drop.
You would think, okay, the problems in Europe, why is China crashing? Obviously, somebody buys China-made products. That's Europe.
Yeah.
So with demand out of Europe evaporating, China is going to suffer as well. So China.
So the overproduction itself in China affects also the economic growth in China itself?
The overproduction?
The overproduction because they don't export now.
Yeah, not as much, yeah. But definitely affected a lot, yeah.
Now move to Indonesia. The Indonesian rupiah has weakened a lot. Has weakened like 9,600 rupiah per US dollar. Yeah. How do you see this? This weakening will be constant until the end of the year, or how is it?
It will continue to weaken because of the fact that Indonesia released a record current account, which is not good, basically, showing that there's too much imports going on. Okay. So to combat this, the rupiah has been weakened considerably. So in that case, what's happening is I've actually seen the rupiah go from 9,000 to 9,650, and previously it was at levels 8,800, if you recall.
Yeah,
I think that I like the rupiah at those levels. I think it's fair, But at 9,650, everything becomes a lot more expensive, basically, for the domestic people out here.
Will it touch until 10,000 per US dollar?
10,000, yeah. 10, that's a psychological figure, 10,000. I don't think it will touch 10,000. I see it maybe teetering to 9.6 to 9.8 and, slowly strengthening back to 9.4, 9.5 and hopefully eventually back below 9,000.
9,000. Yeah. So what's the effect now, an outlook to come according to this rupiah value?
Okay, so the rupiah value, basically, it's already hit a sort of peak at 9,700. We will most likely see it go down further because to combat, basically, like I said, the current account surplus. Deficit, sorry.
Deficit itself. So stock markets are still strong in Indonesia. This is interesting because, with any condition in the global economy worsening, but Indonesia is still strong and seems okay. Yeah. So how do you see this? Any correlation with rupiah value and other correlated?
Okay. Normally, what happens is when the stock market's correct, the rupiah weakens.
Yeah.
Because, international investors, they take their money, they pull it they pull it out of Indonesia, and obviously they sell their stocks, they sell the rupiah as well, and the rupiah will weaken. Now, what we have actually seen is that the rupiah is actually weakened considerably, but the stocks are at like all-time highs. Which is very strange. Another odd anomaly as well is the Dow Jones. The Dow Jones just last week, it dropped 240 points.
Wow.
240 points. Yeah. Double-digit drops are already considered big. And the stock market, the local stock market, unmoved. Unmoved.
Okay, at all?
At all.
So now I want to ask this question about rupiah value. How is the role of our bank central, the central bank of Indonesia? Do you see that is the intervention is really needed to help the rupiah value, or just let the rupiah fall?
You mean like free fall?
Yeah.
Okay. I think what they're doing is a good thing, basically, because they need to control the imports. They need to make sure that more exports take place, and hence with the rupiah being weak, exports are going to be helped, right? Exporters are going to be more active because the rupiah is weak, and they're going to, as they receive US dollars.
Okay, then this is from rupiah, but our time is chasing us. We'll continue after the break. More on discussion about opportunities in current financial markets will be brought to you soon after this one. Stay with us on Economic Buzz.